All right, let's bring in Hayden Ludwig. He from Washington, D.C. He's a spokesperson for Capital Research Center, InfluenceWatch.org. It's a conservative organization watching this migrant situation. Now, I think the migrant thing is going to dissipate over the next few weeks before Christmas. Obviously, USA not letting them in, and people start to go home. Do you see it that way?
Well, considering that a lot of these migrants sitting in Tijuana are looking at perhaps 3 years of waiting in Tijuana. I grew up near Tijuana. It's not a place you want to wait. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty likely that before the end of the year, at least a substantial portion turn around and go home.
Okay. Now, those who remain are obviously burdening Mexico. That's a government that doesn't give you welfare. I don't know if people know this or not, but if you're in trouble in Mexico, you're on your own. Government's not going to fund you or, make your life any better. I give a lot of money to a charity that actually supports children living in a garbage dump in Tijuana. Kids live in the garbage dump. It's an American-run charity because the Mexican government does nothing. But there is big money being pumped into the migrant caravan. Have you looked into that?
We have. So the organizations that I identified last month, the one you've spoken about before is Pueblo Sin Fronteras. It's attached at the hip to a 501c3 nonprofit in Chicago called Centro Sin Fronteras. We should say that's Center Without Borders in Spanish. Centro has gotten at least $60,000 from a group called the National Immigration Forum, which itself is funded by George Soros's Open Society Foundations and a host of major left-wing foundations like Ford, MacArthur, Rockefeller, Carnegie, you name it.
Yeah, this organization got $4.4 million from Soros, National Immigration Forum, and right. That was from 2009 to 2015, I believe. We don't have the data past that, but there are millions of dollars flowing into the organizations on the ground. Because it costs millions of dollars to charter buses to take thousands of people from Mexico City to Tijuana, and that's what happened, did it not?
Yeah, and Bill, I know that the Mexican government did offer to use buses to take a lot of these migrants. I believe the destination was Mexico City, and as I understand it, they declined. But we've seen so much footage on the ground from left-wing, right-wing sources that show buses with men in jackets unloading water, unloading food, candy. I mean, you name it, all sorts of different things for these people. It's a professional organization here.
There's no doubt it's professional. There's no doubt it's methodical. But where is 60 Minutes on it? Where is the New York Times, the Washington Post? Doesn't seem like they really want to tell the folks who's pumping the money into this migrant movement.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, when I started reporting on this in mid-October, all the sources I looked at, Washington Post, New York Times, CNN, you name it, they were all saying nobody organized this. It was spontaneously generated. It was people who decided in flip-flops to walk 3,000 miles to the United States, pushing strollers and little babies around. I come back from Thanksgiving, and suddenly they're all tacitly saying, well, maybe it was organized in part by Pueblo Sin Fronteras and other groups on the ground there. So, yeah, even they tacitly admitted that the story's changed, and
but they very rarely tell their readers and viewers that this is, as you put it, a very well-organized, methodical operation. I have said the reason they are doing this is to break the U.S. asylum and immigration system. They want to break it so that anybody can come in here. That is the ultimate goal. Do you agree?
Oh, 100%. I've looked into the background of Emma Lozano, who is a Methodist pastor who runs Pueblo and Centro Sin Fronteras. Emma Lozano got her start in activism in the late 80s with a group called CASA. It's an acronym. They no longer exist, but CASA was an open borders, Marxist-Leninist, communist organization that pushed for Mexican solidarity, open border stuff. She's since carried on that legacy through Centro Sin Fronteras and its affiliated groups.
Okay, so we know why they're doing it. We know how they're doing it, the organizations involved in funneling the money. We know that it's not working because President Trump's not going to allow them in. This is a core issue for him and his hopes for re-election. So I say it's over, pretty much over, unless there's violence, and I can't see them displaying that violence again, because it just alienates more and more Americans when they see that violence coming from the migrants.
Well, it's just getting harder for the left to hold a unified front when none of the facts are on their side. I mean, just last week, there was an MS-13 gang member who was arrested, who was a Salvadoran immigrant traveling with the Caravan. Well, I sure remember a month ago them saying, MS-13, no, they've got nothing to do with it. And I just saw a couple of days ago, there was a convicted criminal who had just 4 months ago been in a Honduran prison who was arrested by U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents at the border traveling with the Caravan.
Yeah, but you expect that. At least I did. I don't think that the MS-13 is behind it, or there's a massive amount of criminal intrusion here. I think there's some. I think the majority of people trying to get in here are young men. I think that's been proven by the little journalism that's been done. They've actually counted, and it's like 3 to 1 young men over women and children. But I don't see it as a criminal enterprise. I see it as a flagrant attempt by the far left to break our barriers down. It's not going to work. Last word.
Absolutely right. I mean, the bottom line is the lawlessness that these people are fleeing from is obviously regrettable. But I would tell anybody on the left who supports these caravans, it isn't a humanitarian thing to encourage people to make a dangerous, arduous trek north to the U.S. border. And if they succeed, they will only succeed in turning the U.S. into as lawless a country as the countries these people are fleeing from.
Well, we just can't absorb millions of people from all over the world. Hayden, we really appreciate it. Thanks very much for helping us out.